Beautiful singing ia le malipese na fai mai vi ia le tua fa fitai fa amalo i le lofu malanga le lei o tatou tamau le tatou tapa au siri le langi o na ua tatou toe fitapa i fo ilunga o ngaru le ea le Blue TV ma le Pacific Health Talanoa i le nei yaso ngofua o la matanga fo i o le nei vai yaso. The 19th of July 2021 ina wase e mali taimi se furu tasi minute wa te ai nei leitu la e tolu le nei afiafi e whatalofa tu e fo ila i le tatou porkalame le Pacific Health Talanoa i le nei afiafi i le pa ia malima malo le tatou watunuu lo va pena o na mau mai tatou whasalaunga tu sa o tulawa i nei e le Pacific Business Hub malau aunanga le Blue TV le ngata ilea o le Blue Wave ma le ngalu moana photography multimedia. A taule multimedia. They can do anything to do with media, whether it is photography, videography, Facebook Live, or anything about media. That team le Blue TV, they can do it all. They can do it all. I promise you. And you will never ever leave this service for disappointed. They will surely meet your expectations and they will go beyond. Yeah, remember, go beyond to meet your expectations. Ia whatalo whatoi fo ila le tātou porkalame le tātou team, le Blue TV, ia le uso, ia Martin, ia po le fionga fo ia anai, ia ma le au whinga luenga, i o le li ilo asalemo, kamikio asalemo, ele ngatsa fo ileo Sarah, ia Pia Coloria, ia ma le kingikile o Rosa, ia o ama il tātou, o ama kako team, ia ngofu peo koinga, ai lava mau o malemo e tautua tātou hatunu, o lewa mai tau atu tātou taimi, sfolo minute o te enele tūla e tolu, whaila vasi tuairo tātou porkalame, ia o na umani lilia tātou masini. Or kako system, ia o makua maalilia, the weather has been terrible, horrible, down in the South Island, ko kelo o nei tangata fuengale sa fiola tau fale. A lot of people in the South Island, about 500 homes in Marlborough, 900 people were affected. Their homes got affected. O whalanga ina ona o le malolosi telo tāwhenga ia malolo vai na mafu ai ona they had to evacuate on Saturday and went back to their home on Sunday to find that their homes were not livable. Lono winga, wa te tau ona ele tau ona tūna fo ia, it's not safe. So I heard that Chris Farfoy, who is the acting minister of emergency management, is also the Minister for Agriculture, has, approved $600,000, wow, $600,000 to support the affected families in the South Island. Nelson also got affected on the weekend. Ole lolo wa male fale tonole ole tau. And in Nelson itself, there's 1,400 in Nelson, Pacific people living in Nelson, 1,400, and most of them are horticulture and horticulture workers. Tangata fo ia lo nei I visa le tu mau visa yo mai fo ngale tai masina tu masina o masina lockdown extend or svulu masina. O se updated tato COVID man fa mai ia o le mo mai ia le talalata mai COVID ia mai le mtanga luengo le soifo maloloina ile aoli nei e totolu ila tau wa fa mau ni le mau ai le fa mai COVID is forever. 3 people have been tested positive with COVID-19 today, and they are all from overseas. They are travelers from overseas, and they are you know what? So when I check updates for COVID-19 every day, and I see that the people that have positive tests are from overseas, and I'm like, man, let's just reinforce our policies and our regulations and the laws for ina pui ia tatou bora, because olelo yes a case to the community, but it seems like the people from overseas are carriers of the disease and the pandemic. No wingala. The tau lava on I wish for before you hop on the plane and travel to New Zealand, you show with your ticket, you show your negative test result before you travel to New Zealand, because honestly, we so don't want what's happening in Sydney and Australia right now in New Zealand again, please. We've had it. We've had enough. The election in Samoa is already enough for us. We don't want any more headaches. There was able to tell me, I have an interesting interview for our Pacific audience today. O le tamaitai lea ia Leitu Tufuga, ia o ia lea o le National Coordinator o le porkalame le tau o le SUDI. So she is the SUDI Prevention Coordinator nationally for Hapai te Hauora. Ia o le ala Talanoa mai ila to fine lea po te maitai ia Leitu. I le taua o le ave ese o le sikaleti. The importance of being smoke free in relation to supporting the health and well-being of your kids, of your children, of your tamariki. Ia ma tatou whana witi. She is going to be my guest on the Pacific Health Talanoa Ilinea Songa Fua. The good news, Manu Samoa has qualified for the Rugby World Cup 2023. Homaja paki whanau. Homaja paki. O lea wasa watu tatou au le tunu Manu Samoa i le tamulusanga o leipo lalangi le tausanga lua afe lua se fulmaltolu ina ua manu malo ia I kaletahi tonga i le astona ina mawai nei ai e tolu se fulmalfitu i le se fulmalima. We beat the Tongans 37-15. Leala Wasawa Tuai. We qualified for the Rugby World Cup in 2023. And then after the Kaletahi and Manu Samoa, the Fijians, oh man, the Fijians showed so much hunger and passion and so much love for their people, the way they played the game. Oh man, Makuai. I guess everybody was satisfied with, how the Fijians played the game on Saturday. And I know, you know what? If it wasn't for the ref, with some of those dodgy calls, I mean, I'm being honest. And that's Pacific Health Talanoa. It is all about honesty. It is all about putting up the truth out there. Because you know what? Some of those calls were very 50-50. 50-50. If I'm going to miss it. But if I've taken it 50, ono se fulu. Ile se fulu maltolu. But you know what? The first half was like watching the final of the Rugby World Cup. Makuai. Fito ai te collide foi ngale pio vai gladiators foi ngai wa collide kama. Oh man, but the Fijian, man, they look so massive on the field. Man, I wish I was Fijian because I want to be massive too. Sero tato tavis for 1 minute o te Leitu tolu a foi mai I le tato malolonga nei o na moa ne le vanoi fatale no I tato malo falolongi o tato por kalamina nei song 4. Leitu Tufuga. How is your Monday going? Is your Monday going still in a bedroom, no sunshine in there? Hey, get yourself out there and have some sun because the weekend was so not sunny and it was so not funny. So get yourself out and breathe some fresh air and say thank you, Lord, for blessing me with another day. I just realized that Monday is nearly finished, but I've just come out of my room. Be right back with Leitu Tufuga. I love you so much. Mwah.
It's only me she thinks about. I will never have to worry about another being around. I can't believe the way she made me feel. She's my heaven here on earth. I can't believe that this is real. She's my one and only in my world. She's a hard-working lady, got me feeling all crazy. She's mine. She's mine. She's a hard-working lady, nothing short of amazing. She's mine. She's mine.
Okay, now even on a rainy day, she make it shine. I don't even need money, cause she knows she will be mine. Mind over matter, cause I love her, probably take some time. But if we work at it hard, this day won't be a waste of time. So never lie to you, lady, I would die for my baby. Looking at our relationship, it has been a big race. Trying my best not to get lazy, but you remind that that's the best thing about having you as my baby. Cause she's a
Hard-working lady, got me feeling all crazy. She's mine. She's mine. She's a hard-working lady, nothing short of amazing. She's mine. She's mine. She's a hard-working lady, got me feeling all crazy. She's mine. She's mine. She's a hard-working lady, nothing short of amazing. She's mine. She's mine.
The time is now 24 minutes past 3 this Monday the 19th of July 2021. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome back to the Pacific Health Talanoa with Lorenzo Kaisara today. Leitu Tufuga. It is a blessing and it is an honor and a privilege to have Leitu Tufuga on the show today. She is of Samoan and Tongan descent. She's a Hafakasi. But you know what? The best thing about it is she is full Pacific. Half Tongan, half Samoan, but full Pacific. She is passionate about growing capacity of people so that families and communities can lead change and contribute to effective policies that can improve their health and well-being. Leitu is an innovative and creative leader. She believes in weaving and supporting stories from people who can paint a picture about the problem and provide the solutions too. Wow. She has contributed to advocating for better health and social outcomes. She brings with her experience from libraries, local government and community and youth development, NGO sector, and in public health. Leitu's public health experience in alcohol harm, obesogenic environment, excuse my English, tobacco control, public campaigns, contributing skills and advocacy to achieve a smoke-free Aotearoa by 2025. Leitu is well connected to her communities locally and nationally. She currently is the National Secretary for Pacifica, PACIFICA Incorporated, National Executive. This is her second term, second term of service. The path to leadership is through service, a well-known Samoan proverb. Before we lead, we need to serve our people. Wow, and it's through the many learnings we can gain new insights, sharpen our skills before we take the lead for our communities and families. Wow, it is such a blessing. And I want to talofa first to my guest, talofa Leitu Tufuga.
Oh, talofa lava. Thank you for making me sound like a rock star.
Wow. Oh my gosh, you know, reading that biography, and already I'm like, wow, it is a true honor and a blessing to have you, because we need people like yourself, leaders like yourself, Pacific leaders like yourself to advocate and to promote well-being and health for our people. How are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good, you know. I feel like, normal people like us who know what is good for our families can really advocate our voice and to make change. So, you don't need to be a superstar. You just need to like lift your voice really. And I call it like the tea towel conversations, the tea towel conversations that you have in the kitchen with your aunties. Wow. It's about taking that talanoa, those tea towel conversations out of the kitchen into spaces where our leaders can actually hear those tea towel conversations. So I always use that analogy because it's in those tea towel conversations that we hold the key to our solutions.
Wow, absolutely right, because we practice it at home, and there's a best time parents and whānau and their kids can actually have a conversation.
That's right.
Is when they sit down together, no such thing called boys outside in the kitchen and the girls in the lounge, When it comes to like talking about health and well-being, we all need to sit down together as a family, as a hainga, and discuss and share. And the most important thing is to come out with solutions like you mentioned. Yeah. Wow, from libraries. So now working in the public health sector? Tell me about the Pan Pacific last week. What happened there?
Right, so we had Pan Pacific whono. So this was a whono that is a second whono that was held from last year. So this is about, inviting people, our Pacific people who are working in the health sector, as well as our friends who kind of sit outside the health sector, but are also very interested in like contributing ideas and solutions. So we had some really awesome keynote speakers. We had Stephanie Eric, who provided some feedback on stats and research from Otago University, and then we had Ane from Wana Research. We had Edward Cowley and myself present and also provide an update on behalf of Tala Pacifica and the work that we've been doing around smoke-free. And then who else? Then we had Maria Lafaeli, who is working in the COVID space. She provided an update for Pacific peoples and what COVID looks like, as well as vaccinations for our people.
Wow. I heard Maria Lafaeli's presentation, and you know what? She is changing the system. And she is challenging the system. That's what I took, from Maria's presentation, is that the system that was put in place is so not working, well for our people, but Maria had, she changed some ways of how to do things just to get our people to get vaccinated.
That's right.
And you know what? The other interesting presentation that I heard on the day, Dr. David Shah.
Yes.
And how he presented about the spectrum of cancer and the importance of knowing the prevention, the treatment. What else? The care.
That's right. And so it was really great to work with Cancer Council Agency. And they provided us 3 questions around cancer care and what that looks like for our people. Because cancer is very, it used to be a foreign thing. Now, it doesn't take long for a person to say, yes, I know so-and-so and all of these other people who have been affected by cancer. Wow. So they asked about the barriers. What are some of the solutions? And, it was really great for our people to have Talanoa and have lived experience of those and members who've gone through the system, and actually to say, these are the issues that are facing our Pacific people. These are the solutions, and these are the changes that we want.
Wow. Another best part of that presentation, Leitu, is having patients themselves there. Yes. It was such an emotional moment for all of us, because hearing their stories and what they had to go through to get the service and the treatment that they deserved. Oh my gosh, having cancer already is like not, a really emotional experience, But then the barriers, oh my gosh, and hearing them not getting the right support, the right system in place to make sure that they get the right care. That was such, really heartbreaking for me.
That's right. And we were really fortunate to have the CEO, Dr. Diana Safati there. And, it was good for her to hear firsthand around, why there are so many barriers for our Pacific people and why the system is so broken, and also to actually give lived experience examples of that. So I was really glad that she was there, and she was very open to all of that feedback.
Wow,
so that's great.
Wow. And one patient, on at the funeral on the day, she said she was, before she actually got into the room, she was already judged, by the way she looks, and that really made me sad because it is true. And for us that are now working in the public health sector, what can we do?
I guess what we can do is that for those who are working in the public sector and those who are going through the process, I think what you can do the most is also speak up around what isn't working for you. There's also racial profiling that we talked about in this Talanoa that was very huge. For Māori Pacific, they don't get the same access as non-Māori Pacific. So we need to make sure that that it also works for everyone, and that includes Māori and Pasifika peoples.
Wow, and you know what? There was a lady there. She was a patient, and she brought her husband along with her. Yes. And the husband said, what he said, I was like, man, our doctors and our medical specialists, professionals, they really need to listen to the patients these days, because honestly, the husband said that he recommended and he asked and he begged the doctors if his wife could do a scan earlier, but then that was the last thing on the doctor. I'm not blaming, you know what? I'm not saying I'm not blaming the doctors, but I'm putting it out there because we are speaking up for our people. And the other thing about the whono, Ali, too, it was a connection. Whether you work directly or indirectly with our people in the sector, in the health sector, it was so good to reconnect people that I haven't seen in 10 years.
That's right.
It was really good to see them.
And it's really important that for our people in the Pacific health sector, that they come together around on issues that really matter, and also to take action. So that's what the Pan-Pacific Whono is all about. It's about connecting our people together, and for those who are serving our communities too, but also to provide solutions and then to keep on working on them and to consistently sharpen the tools and the action around what that looks like.
SUDI, S-U-D-I.
Yes.
What is that? When you say I'm the SUDI coordinator nationally, I'm like, what's SUDI? Is it Sapa SUDI or what is SUDI? What does it stand for?
So SUDI stands for Sudden Unexpected Death in Infancy.
Wow.
So Hapai te Hauora holds several contracts, and SUDI prevention is one of them. And it's about, what SUDI is promoting our mothers to be well, so that our infants, when they during the stage of pregnancy as well as when they give birth, our babies are safe and they're healthy, especially when they're sleeping, making sure that they sleep in their own bassinet, in their own poroko or wahakura, so that
is that the cot?
Yes, that's right, so that they have the best way of breathing. So it's really important that our mothers are smoke-free as well. And that's also our...
Sorry, can you just say that again?
It's important that our mothers are smoke-free.
Wow.
Yeah. And I know it's really hard to give up tobacco. It is an addiction. But in order for our babies and also the well-being of the mother, smoke-free is really, really important.
Wow. You mentioned... it is important for our babies and children to have to breathe properly.
Yes.
Have their airways clear so they can breathe properly. RSV has been around, has going around at the moment, and it's affecting a lot of babies. And
that's right.
What's your take on that? What are your thoughts on how can we protect our kids and whānau from it?
I guess we need to do as much as we can, in terms of our housing situation. Yes. Our families, we live communally, together, but we need to make sure that overcrowding isn't happening. So another aspect is housing, getting housing really right, and also a healthy home, what that looks like, insulation, making sure our house is nice and warm, and also that our kids don't get sick too. So there are several layers of things that need to happen around that, and also key messages, and also practicing what we do and we do really, really well.
It is also equally important, for our kids and children to have their MMR immunisation.
Yes, that's right, and to be vaccinated, and to get the immunisation and to follow through. Make sure that you probably have a booklet or I remember Plunkett usually giving a booklet, and you could write down when your child is vaccinated and the immunization. So if you don't have that, you can always make a note of that and always go back to your GP and talk to someone about, what are the next steps. If you're not unsure, it's always good to ask.
Too, I spoke to health navigators before our interview about the importance of using a syringe, for children's medicine.
Yeah.
And you know what? I say to them that it is more intimidating going to the pharmacy than going to the family doctors, because I'm aware that some of our people, after they see their doctors, they take their scripts home with them, because walking into the pharmacy to get that medicine, and it's quite intimidating, because I'm like, oh my gosh, But you know what? It is important for our children to have their medicines taken out of the syringes. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. As well, it's a safe and healthy practice.
Yeah. No teaspoon.
Yeah, no teaspoon, and also it's about the teaspoon. Sometimes our teaspoons have different sizes. They have different sizes, so it's not a tablespoon and it's not a teaspoon. You need to get the right equipment so that you can give the right amount that is advised by your doctor, and also to see it through, the period and time of time frame of finishing the description. That's right. Full course. Even though they're getting better, they still need to make sure it's completed.
Wow. And you know what? Us parents and us adults in the Pacific Mātua, we need to take the lead. We need to lead by examples, because honestly, I'm guilty of that too. Sometimes I get my antibiotics and I get told by the doctor, make sure you take the full course, but then when I feel better, I'm like, I don't want any, I'll go back to my coffee as my medicine. But that's so wrong. That is so wrong. But Leitu has advised that it is important to take the full course. Really important.
Yeah.
What is your advice on, if kids and children are sick, must they stay home?
Oh, absolutely. They should stay home. And, in the times of COVID, and the key messages that have been going out, and even, our Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, and our Dr. Ashley has been saying, if you are sick or unwell, stay home. And it still applies. That rule still applies. So, I know of those who have a cousin who was keen to come to a family gathering, and he said, I'm just kind of getting over a cold. Are you sick? Answer is yes or no. If it's yes, stay home. I do not want your bugs.
So I know we love gatherings, big gatherings, for our birthdays, our funerals, our weddings, our second weddings, third weddings, and stuff like that. But you know what? It is important to look after the health and well-being of your whānau and your kids first. Now, going back to syringes, Leitu, after the kids use it, make sure you wash it and then store it in the fridge. Get a small bowl, put them in a small bowl, and put it right on top of that shelf, on the door.
Yeah.
So it is important, very little things like that. If we practice it and get used to it at home, and obviously make a change to the health and well-being of our whānau.
Yeah.
Now, Smoke-free 2025, Leitu.
Smoke-free 2025.
What's happening? We've got, we're only four years away from it.
Yeah, we're only 4 years away from it. But there's so much work that needs to be done. For Hapai, Te Hauora and Tala Pacifica, what we've done is that we were able to go out to our communities and also ask for some feedback around what the smoke-free action plan looks like. And if I could just share some kind of those summary learnings and feedback that have been coming through from the Talanoa sessions. Our families are supportive of smoke-free. It was really, really cool to hear that. And that they actually want to achieve this goal to be smoke-free by 2025, and that it's important. They also talked about, a lot of people talked about, we have heaps of places that sell tobacco at our dairies, our petrol stations, in our supermarket. And I was really humbled to hear from those who are currently smoking and trying to quit. And they talked about their quit journey and how hard it is. So I really valued that. And what one guy said is, Leitu, I'm trying to give up. But how can I give up when, in my area, out South Auckland, where he stays, it's everywhere. So temptation is everywhere. So how do you expect me to give up? So we need to, when we talked about, okay, so what is the solution? I was saying, just get get it out of our dairies, get it out of our petrol stations. We don't want to see it in our supermarkets, because if it's there, it'll be on the shopping list.
Absolutely.
It'll be too easy.
You say that smoking, tobacco needs to get out of our dairies and out of our liquor stores and everywhere in South Auckland. Who needs to make that call?
So, we need to increase our voice around that, and we need to also say to our MPs that we elected in, send a quick email, a Facebook message, or post on their Facebook page and say, hey, can you do this? Because this is what I think would work. That is get it out of our areas in those spaces.
And our political leaders, to be very honest, are very responsive. We've got Josephine Bartley, who is on Facebook 24/7 because she answers messages on Messenger, and we've got Sue Williams, who's really active, Jenny Salesa, and everyone. Yes, Anahila.
Yes, Anahila. They're all very active on Facebook. So, social media, we use it as a tool to either whaikakala or
promotion.
It's really to get our voice heard.
That's right.
And to actually say the things that we want to say that matter to our families, and that is, we want to be smoke free. So this is how we want it. This is how it's going to be done. You go and do something about that with my support.
Leitu, I really hope that one day I will see you as a member of the local board, because we need strong voice like you. Someone that can advocate, not just saying it, but you're actually walking the talk. You're working in the health sector, you're preaching it, you're promoting it, you're raising awareness, and we need people like you in the local board. So I really hope the next one, because that's happening next year, I'll be your campaign manager at Leitu. But going back to our parents, you know what? If we are saying to our children and our whānau, stop smoking, stop drinking, but you are a heavy smoker, I tell you what, our children can also walk the same shoes, the same, same path that you walk. Our whānau can walk the same path. So we need to lead, and we need to take the lead by examples. We have to be strong mentally, spiritually, because if you are strong spiritually, Leitu, no matter where you go to the dairy and you see this is smoking there and tobacco, I'm going to be like, in the name of Jesus, I command you to, go away from me. That's a spiritual side. What are your thoughts on that? Being holistic.
It's also about being holistic, and also talking the truth of our people too. We want our families to live a little bit longer. And, we all talk about how grateful we are for life and what that means, and depending on, whether you, pray to Jesus, or if it's Buddha, or whatever religion that you believe in. It's about doing things that is good for your family, and what is good for your family is what is healthy, and that is smoke-free.
Leitu, another benefit that families can gain from stopping smoking, the money they can save.
Oh my gosh, yes. The money that you could save, tobacco it's a very expensive habit, an addiction to have. So for those who have given up, and I've spoken to a lot of people who have given up, oh my gosh, they talk about how much money that they have in their wallets. They could finally, afford other things, or, put it to things that really matter, that would, they talk about, oh my gosh, I could put an extra $20 in my car for petrol. The nappies is not an issue anymore. The milk formula is, I'm not having to just run out of, and just make it. So there are, financially, there are benefits of being smoke-free too.
Wow. So blessed. You know what? We can continue this conversation for another hour, 2 hours, but due to our time, we're going to conclude our interview on Talanoa. Do you have any final advice for our young people that are tuning in?
Sure. We talk about being the best of ourselves. So, and a lot of the Talanoa that I've been hearing is that, everyone is focused on their well-being and what that looks like. So we talk about our mental well-being and then our physical well-being. And so smoke-free and being healthy and making sure that we're looking after ourselves is exactly that. So do what you can. Support those who are on their health journey, who are trying to quit smoking, who are trying to, reduce their alcohol, because there's no shame to that. And it's also supporting their goals.
Man, thank you so much, Leitu. And the only advice I can give out today to our lovely people is put your well-being, prioritize your well-being, put it on top of your list, not alcohol, not smoking, not putting other people first, but put your well-being first, because as I read out in Leitu's biography, you look after yourself so you can look after others. I love that. I'll take that line away and I'll steal that from your biography and I add it to mine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Leitu, for tele lava to my sister. I hope to have you back on the show.
Sure.
And I wish you all the best. God bless you. And I will see you in a local board next year or in the future. Thank you so much.
So lava.
Yeah, o le whauponga na o le tātou yo e whatalanoanga. Ia ma le tofine ia Leitu. Awesome, man. Wealth of experience and information coming from Leitu and the team from Hapai to Hauora. Thank you so much for allowing Leitu to come on a Pacific Health Talanoa. But I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Ia pea umale tātou break male tātou musika lea. Leo se male taimi se fultol minute o le sa lea o Leitu la e wha whakarowhalai atu ne sabule vinaka malo le kia ora na talohani.
Forever you'll be my love. This little days can't stay too long. Don't let it go until I know you love me. Walk into your life. Shine above me. Stay as long as time. Give yours, you will be mine. Don't let it go until I know you love me, love me.
You walk into my life, I mean his life, and you make him a superstar. And forever and ever. I mean, it's every time. 10 minutes to 4 minutes on the sale, o Leitu la e wha te whatalo whatuai, le Pacific Health Talanoa ia te oe, oa maringa luenga nei auli, oa mai, oe ngofo ia, mea ngai ngofo from 2 o'clock, it's now 4 o'clock, ngai ke ngofo ia, hello, pick yourself up, ia mai hale whai lenga luenga pālangi, te watuli oe, o lea lockdown, hard to find a job, so we all have to be honest, we all have to do your best, to keep your job. Langa fo ya fo ngalele wo no e ngala pore ye kangi va pesol. Ka ele vole e complain me o le pasele ai. No, it's your own fault. Ele se force si o le fo oi. Oi, la si me ko fi kana ngoi. O le si me le o le Royal Commission of Inquiry into Historical Abuse in Care. That campaign is happening this week. Started today. they had the official opening of the whono to the Maota Samoa, Maota Samoa, se iau o lavala I le asa wharaile. A whai e te whia ma futa atu le whono tanga lea, it is free. E le isa strongi. Vaso ato lavala nei, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I le Maota Samoa, I ma ngele pēr whai e te whia ma futa atu I le whono tanga lea, ma nei ia. O le tulanga foi lea, ua matau na tilo le whainga malo ni sila. Ia fiango sa wanga I tono ainga Pasifika. You know, as now, the dawn raids, apology is going to happen next month. Lea la ua fitaui le lei ma le commission lea. Ma le commission, because the abuse, the abuse. Are you an abuser? Or are you being abused? Yeah, vai. If that's happening to you, if you are being abused by anybody, make sure you go and maybe give your feedback and give some feedback to the government, because this is the government arm. Elato vava aya me ta'u inquiries ile abuse. So make sure if you are free this week, make sure you attend the whono Maota Samoa starting every day at 9 o'clock. I want to miss you. I'm there tomorrow until Friday, and I'll be bringing updates. Talalata mai tātou whonsanga lea I le tātou Pacific Health. Talanoa I le nei vai aso. O le stara fia. Le stara fia. Wa uia. Makwa yo ovatamu na fo ngale ufai ngale kare tai. Smell what the manu is cooking out. Oh, rakunga. But you know what? I kale tai in the second half. Oh gosh, sorry. Wa vai akule o mai akama sorry. Pe wo ko vai ta winga ako ngam sa mo wo ngalili. Ya, tu nam fata ala ngau sul pesa ka ko sa mo vai mai. Maka me. Ta le tonga ta ia pe. Maka me. Ta le Samoa, ta ia se esao. Pe ngā umalo mai ako ngā ta attack. Oh my gosh. Muka alur kingo kama. But anyways, Manu Samoa beat the Ikalatahi Tonga by 37 points to 15, and we have now qualified for the Rugby World Cup 2023. Are you going to be there? I am going to be there. You know what? Let's help each other to get COVID-19 out of the globe, so we can all be at the Rugby World Cup to support the boys. Let's go 15 minutes on the Talanoa July 5 mo le tolo fa ngai le tunu o lo fa pena le fa ngai manga luenga le ngai se fo I le fa now fa ngai pe o toma holidays. Like I said last week, do not spend too much time on that PlayStation, on that Xbox, on that TikTok. Oh my gosh. Speaking of TikTok, what is going on in this world right now with TikTok, you know? But anyways, there's nothing wrong with TikTok, but when we are spending too much time on it, it's time. Remember, the most expensive thing you can give to someone and yourself is your time. So I want to get a TikTok while I'm my mom. Sao for follow Apple? Sao go to Kanga Mea? Sao ever come and shoot an app? You know why I walk out. I'm being honest. So if I could find it out, might have vacuum. I will TikTok for you. Come on. And then I hear young people say, you really need to come down to our level. You need to come down and hear our voice and listen to us. Oh my gosh. Why don't you come up to us and But anyways, come up. We meet halfway. You come up and we come down and we meet, okay? Mà ngay giờ yun me voi ngani fa long wo ya we. It's really tato fa long e mau le manuia. You are on holidays. Make sure you spend a lot of time with your parents. Help mom. You know what? I read an interesting post on Facebook about a mother, and it made me realize how much time and how homestay mother I'm talking about. Their job 24/7. My job is nothing compared to their job. No one's job can ever be compared to a full-time mother's job at home, looking after the kids, cooking, bathing them, looking after them. And then listen more to Paul. Ay ako lang ako kama fo ngale fai mai fere me ai. Afa amasa ipuki amasa kofe. Okay, le pius la ko me ngalong winga la. O ay lu mau to sa mo les for ile fo. Ever so feedback. Anyways, wa umal tato por kalame. Thank you so much. I love you so much, Pacific. I love you, my beautiful Samoa. Faka awe lahi, fa fetai te lava malo o pito. Ngā mihi nui, and thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you at 3 o'clock on Blue TV, Pacific Half Talanoa, with The Rock. I mean, with Lorenzo. I love you. Mwah!
Squad, baby. Rex, J Sands.
Let's go.
Oh, say I'm say you are complete to me, Agelio. By the way that you move and the way that you smile. Say, oh my Dorima, baby, you be giving your hand, I'll take you anywhere. You give me something that I never had. Cause you care, but about to me and the family. Say, why you waiting on me to talk to you? Yeah, I'ma listen what y'all say. Yeah, don't move out in the come here. Yeah, they on the nail, dirty wine, girl, dirty wine.